The world does not announce when it changes. It shifts in tone, in glances, in what is no longer said aloud. By the mid-2020s, the global mood had grown colder, and no one moved through it untouched. Morning breaks over two distant cities. In China, banners hang on university buildings, their red fabric catching the early light. In America, autumn leaves gather along quiet sidewalks, a carpet of gold and rust. The air in both places feels different, charged with a new kind of silence. For more than 2 decades, China had been Mike's home. He taught here, lived here, built a life measured not in visas, but in years. He walks across a university campus he has known for what feels like a lifetime. The buildings are the same. The people are not. Something has changed. The admiration that once surrounded foreign experts has faded, replaced by something cooler, more distant. In a faculty meeting, his presence goes largely unnoticed. Colleagues speak carefully, their conversations navigating invisible lines, avoiding certain topics. It's not hostility, just a quiet recalibration, a subtle collective turning away. One afternoon, a short email arrives. Due to policy adjustments, the university will be reviewing foreign faculty positions. There's no explanation, no accusation. Just cold, institutional language. Mike knows what it means. Across the country, universities are letting foreign teachers go. Not because they failed, but because the world outside the classroom had grown tense. China no longer seemed to need validation from the West, and America no longer inspired it. That evening, Mike eats alone at a small restaurant. The low hum of a television fills the air, broadcasting news about global competition, technology, and power. At a nearby table, diners speak openly, their voices confident. This is our time now. We don't need them anymore. No one addresses him directly. They don't have to. For the first time in years, Mike feels visible in a way he had forgotten, not as a contributor, a friend or a neighbor, but as a symbol of a past that had lost its relevance. Later that night, in his apartment, he begins packing away old teaching materials, photos, and memories. He had not planned to leave, but he began to understand something quietly, painfully clear. Belonging, like opportunity, is never permanent. It can be withdrawn without a sound. Across the ocean, in the United States, Lin Fang stands in her apartment, holding a folded sweater. Time had been kind to her in measurable ways. She had earned her citizenship. She owned a business. She had her independence. But time had also left its mark. She looks at herself in the mirror. The lines on her face do not bother her. What unsettles her is the exhaustion she sees in her own eyes. The sheer energy it once took to survive had doubled. Every decision now required careful calculation. Every risk felt heavier. She was no longer building. She was maintaining, holding on. At night, she finds herself scrolling through old photos on her phone. Images of Shanghai. Hotel lobbies filled with familiar faces. Friends she has long since lost touch with. The idea arrives quietly, not as regret, not as a sense of failure, but as a question she can no longer ignore. Where do I belong now? The question hangs in the air, unanswered. Then, a practical trigger. A letter from her accountant arrives, outlining rising healthcare costs and the daunting complexities of retirement planning. America offered freedom, but it demanded a relentless endurance. And Lin Fang began to wonder if the roots she left behind mattered more than she had once believed. Sometimes fate does not collide, it aligns. A professional conference is announced, a small international forum on trade and migration, hosted in a coastal Chinese city. Mike receives an invitation, recognized as a longtime observer of China's development. He decides to go, perhaps as a final farewell. Miles away, Lin Fang registers online, her focus on market shifts and cross-border business opportunities. A trip back feels right. Neither knows the other's name. Neither knows their paths are about to converge. The conference lounge is a space of muted light and quiet conversations. Lin Fang enters, a little hesitant, adjusting her coat. The environment feels familiar, almost too familiar, like a life she used to live. Mike stands near a coffee station, reviewing his notes, his mind elsewhere. As the break begins, they both move toward the same small table. reaching for the last empty cup. Their hands almost touch. A brief pause. A polite smile. "Sorry," he says. "No, please, you take it," she replies. It was not dramatic, it was not planned. Just two lives, shaped by different journeys, meeting in the ordinary space between arrival and departure. They sit at nearby tables. Later, during a panel discussion, Lin Fang raises her hand. Her voice is calm, her words precise. "How do our systems," she asks, "account for the people who adapt but are never fully accepted?" Mike looks up from his notes. He recognizes the question immediately, not intellectually but personally. It's the question that has been echoing in his own mind for months. For the first time in years, he doesn't answer as an academic, citing studies or theories. He answers as someone who understands. Outside, evening settles over the city, the lights of the skyline beginning to glow. They walk out of the conference hall separately, into the cool night air. Then, they both pause on the steps. A brief conversation begins. Names are exchanged. No grand backstories are shared, no long explanations given. There is just a simple, profound sense of recognition in each other's eyes. Some encounters arrive late in life. Not to change the past, but to finally make sense of it. The world had turned. And for the first time, their paths no longer ran in parallel. They had finally crossed. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending some of your valuable time with me. I really hope you found this helpful or at least a little bit entertaining. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel out more than you know. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of our future content. I love hearing from you guys, so please drop a comment down below and let me know what you thought, or what you'd like to see next. Your feedback is everything. Thanks again for your incredible support. Stay awesome, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.